So from the last public forum, which had probably 20 golfers at it, look at tonight. This is the crowd at Cherokee Golf Course to hear about the plans to possibly reclaim Cherokee Golf Course for grasslands. And we've got a lot of media here as well. A ton of people are standing by. I'm going to scoot right over here. Here's what's going on inside. So you thought that the outside was bad. People are still registering. And we've still got about 5 minutes to go. I'm going to hop up here to the front. The rest of the media is towering in the corner. See what's going on. I'm going to park myself right here. It's a perfect spot, so you will be able to hear everything that goes on. And Louisville Parks and Recreation is going to be speaking in just a few moments. So stay tight with me. We're actually in the cart garage, which is pretty funny. If you've never been in here, this is what it looks like. This is where we all, when we go golf, we park the carts after playing. And so they cleared the entire garage out to make way for people, set up chairs, and this should be quite an interesting forum. Now, for those of you who are concerned about missing anything else that's going on, Riot Heart is live at the Mayoral Forum, and I will be live at tomorrow night's Louisville Urban League Mayoral Forum. So we will keep you guys informed about everything. There comes Margaret Brosco, who is Louisville Metro Parks and Recreation head, and she's going to be managing this enthusiastic and engaged crowd. So we're going to just sit tight for a second until we give them a chance to start. We've got about, 5-10 minutes. Give me a comment if you can hear me, guys. Quick comment if you can hear me. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my Wi-Fi, because I'm going to need it, because I have a feeling that when people start going live, they're going to eat up whatever bandwidth is in the area. Hey, sis. How you doing? Very enthusiastic crowd, and the line is all the way back to the clubhouse, which is pretty amazing. A lot of golfers, a lot of citizens who are engaged in all kinds of things here to pay attention. Thank you, Janice. I appreciate that. And they have a microphone, so they've got a sound system, so that's good. Very glad to hear that they have a sound system. So that people will be able to hear this voice. How you doing? Good.
You're gonna be on your way here?
Yeah, I created a little hole for myself.
You sure did.
Here by the wall, so I could kind of hide back here and not be in anybody's way and have something to lean on.
I'll keep everybody outside
I'll
of your
just
way.
lean here next to you. So Riot Heart is live on Riot Heart Media, you all, in case you're looking for him. He's at the Mayoral Forum at U of L. I'm here at Cherokee Golf Course. I don't know where Summer is. I don't know whether she was going to do one tonight or not. She's been busy all day, I'm sure. But I definitely want to encourage you to join us tomorrow also. We've got a pretty busy day ahead on Tuesday. And I'm going to be hitting possibly a couple of fundraisers, maybe tomorrow night. Oh, actually, I'm sorry to say that Jared just texted me and said
appreciate it. What an awesome turnout. Really appreciate everybody being here. This is fantastic. This is what the process is all about. We want to get going as quickly as possible, so we make sure we have time to hear from everyone. We did put some additional picnic tables that will be back here. You are welcome to sit there. There will also be picnic tables that will be being placed out just past the sign-in sheet as well. For those of you who are in the back, if you do not want to speak and you're just here to listen, feel free to kind of hang out. The sign-up sheet will get your way. All right, and for those of you who want to speak, there should be multiple sign-in
Several Metro
sheets
Council people are here,
circulating around.
Kevin
Yes.
Kramer and Cassie Chambers Armstrong.
Yeah. That's awesome. So if there's anybody who does need to sit down, who's standing, there's a couple here in the front. And like I said, there's picnic tables here in the back. And then we're going to put more picnic tables over there. But is there anybody that's standing that needs a seat? Okay, if that's the case, just let us know and we can definitely adjust and make some room. All right. I think we're going to get started just in the spirit of making sure that everybody has some time. So hello, everyone. Thanks again for coming. All right, I'm Margaret Roscoe, Acting Director of Louisville Parks and Recreation. And I'm joined here tonight by Councilwoman Cassie Chambers Armstrong. I saw Councilman Kramer, Councilwoman Fowler, who's also the chair of the Parks and Sustainability Committee. Any other Metro Council members that we have? All right, if anybody shows up, let me know. We also have a number of people from our Parks and Rec team, so I want to thank everybody for being here. A lot of folks that work at this golf course and in golf, so appreciate them taking their time to be here as well. And we're also joined by Olmsted Parks Conservancy Board Chair, Amin Amani. So Councilwoman Armstrong and others have expressed interest in gauging the public's thoughts about a proposal that was submitted by Olmsted to enhance Cherokee Park by making improvements and investments to repurpose the golf course property into active and diverse parkland. Therefore, we're here tonight to proceed with the second of two public meetings regarding the golf course in Cherokee Park. So I want to give Councilwoman Armstrong, Kramer, Fowler a chance to come up and say hi. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I will keep this short because I'm guessing those of you who are standing, it's a little uncomfortable. There are a couple of open seats right up front if anyone wants to make their way up front. I'm Cassie Chambers Armstrong. I'm the District 8 Council Representative. District 8 includes the Cherokee Golf Course and where we all are tonight. It's great to see so many familiar faces. I appreciate that so many people have come out to express their views and participate in this conversation. I will say I am coming to this with an open mind. I'm here to listen. You will see me, I'm not going to be clapping or participating tonight. I'm just here to hear what the community has to say. If you don't have a chance to share your comments tonight, please reach out to me some other way. I have office hours every single Thursday at noon. You can reach me via email, via phone, happy to schedule meetings, really here to understand what people in District 8 and also throughout the city think about this proposal and how they feel about the Cherokee Golf Course. With that, I'd like to give Councilman Kevin Kramer and Councilwoman Cindy Fowler the opportunity to make any opening remarks that they might want to make. Councilwoman Fowler.
Okay. Hi, I'm Cindy Fowler, and I'm the chair of the Parks and Sustainability Committee. I live out in District 14, which is Valley Station PRP. So this is a little bit away from home, but I am here to listen and look forward to hearing from everybody.
Okay. Like Cindy, I do not represent this also one of the things that I write through is there are some amenities in our community that benefit large portions of the community beyond just where that amenity is. And so, great to hear what folks is focus on the use of this golf course property as we go forward. And we've got a lot of work to do at the Metro Council once we hear from you guys, figuring out what happens next. The ordinance is written in such a way that it has to come back to the council to determine what happens with golf courses going forward. So we're wanting to hear what folks' input is. So thank you for being here tonight. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, council members. And it's really awesome to see everybody here. I see golfers that I run into at the course. I see avid parks users. They're out and about all the time. So it's great to see everybody here. And it's going to be awesome to hear what you have to say. We're going to go over just how it's going to work tonight and a few protocols that we'd like to follow before we start taking the public comments. So we will begin hearing from you after a brief presentation. If you would like to speak, again, please make sure that you have signed in. When you're called upon, state your name. Do our best to track all the comments. In an effort to be respectful and make sure everyone has a chance to speak, this is really important. If someone before you spoke and expressed your point or your concern, please note your concern briefly and say that it has already been expressed. That will make sure everybody has a chance to speak. So saying the same thing, making the same point somebody else did, just let everybody know that that's your point and we can move on to the next person. All right? Also, if you were at the last public meeting and you spoke, we're going to ask you to pass until we get through all of the new voices that are here tonight. Again, just an opportunity to make sure that everybody is heard. Okay? If you choose not to speak publicly, especially with this turnout that may be like, oh, no way am I getting up there. We still want to hear what you have to say. So please send an email. Like Councilwoman Armstrong said, she has office hours. Give us a call at Parks, and you can send that email to parks@louisvilleky.gov, and we'll make sure that we note your note. Also, if you saw at the back table, Brandy and Faye, big round of applause to Brandy and Faye at the check-in table. Right? This is exactly what we're going to talk about. Those two individuals volunteered to come out here to help with this public meeting tonight. Faye also has volunteered to work at the golf course. So she's one of our admin staff that has helped us out to make sure that the golf course stayed open throughout this time. So just want to thank them. But if you don't want to email, you don't want to speak tonight, go back there, talk to Brandy and Faye. They'll make sure that they jot down your comments so that we have that on our record, okay? All right, a little background on Cherokee Golf Course. So, here in 1985. In 1985, it's located on the golf course in each course. It's just over 15 rounds and to keep in mind recreation. Is the one course is operator. In other words, Metro house, reservations, etc. Global Parks and Recreation has retained 100% of the revenue since that time. Now, if you look at the last 10 years, Cherokee Golf Course's revenue have been in the red. Last year, 2021, was the only year in the last 10 to see a profit. Again, by using Metro employees who were performing double duty between their huge office space and the house, we created a better revenue stream for the course and kept the doors open with a 48% increase in revenue. Again, no contract, 100% of the revenue went to the city. We pulled employees from community centers, administrative staff, operations, and other divisions. As you can imagine, this is completely unsustainable. It got us through the time that we were operating it, thanks in large part to the COVID pandemic. But now our offices are open, our community centers are back up and running, and we need our Parks and Rec staff to be out doing the work that they were hired to do. Also, the golf division is an enterprise system, thanks to Metro Council. We appreciate that. All money made in golf stays in golf. Any money lost takes away from the investment in all the other courses. So they're tied together. So if one course is failing, the others will feel the impact. If a course is prospering, all the courses benefit. Speaking of investments, there is quite a bit of deferred maintenance needed at Cherokee. Anyone who plays here knows that, right? We're looking at $1.3 million of work that needs to be done just on the facilities. Bids were put out to operate the clubhouse. It did not yield any viable options. We did, however, receive a proposal from Olmsted Parks Conservancy to enhance Cherokee Park by making improvements and investments to revitalize the golf course property into active and diverse parkland. It is this proposal that brings us here tonight. Again, this is the only item that we will be discussing, the future of Cherokee Golf Course. So now I'd like to turn it over to Amin Ahmadi, Board Chair of the Olmsted Parks Conservancy, to explain the proposal a little more.
Hey everyone, how are you all doing tonight?
We're here.
I'm so excited to see so many people to show out for something that's so important to our community. I have some prepared remarks, but I'm gonna zip through it because there's just so much to say and you all have really a lot to contribute to this conversation. So first I want to clarify what we're doing here this evening. It's deciding the future of this land that you see in front of you. And the first part is, should the golf course close? That decision rests with Louisville Metro Parks and Louisville Metro Council. The second part is, if it is to close, what should happen to the land? Can you all hear me back there? I'm sorry. I'm going to try to rotate both sides. Yeah. Okay. So the second part is, what should happen to the land? And we believe that from a maintenance and development standpoint, we can make the park as the golf course at a park that will be open to all. So the next part, I'm going to talk a little bit about the proposal that we have. But I want to kind of, can you all see the pictures here? I know you all in the back can't, so maybe I'll just go through a quick description. It's all on the website, but we have a few pictures of what the park could become. So these are just some high-level ideas of turning the Willow Pond into something that doesn't receive fertilizers and pesticides and could be kind of thought of as a recreational opportunity. The clubhouse could turn into a restaurant with some panoramic views, and there could be nature walks and meadows and things like that. These are all just visionary ideas, but it'll all go through a master planning process with the kind of backbone of that would be public participation. So we'd ask all the folks here to participate in that and hear the comments to inform the future plan.
How is it funded? Can we just hold questions?
Yeah, I'll get through it. So the next part is talking about kind of the support. And Homestead Parks Conservancy is a nonprofit. We work closely with Louisville Parks and Recreation. And we manage and maintain 17 parks and 6 parkways. Worth of investment. We have a team for healthy parks, very talented group that manages meadows, woodlands, and formally planted areas. We have a project manager who works closely with the team to make sure that work is data-driven. We have a project director that oversees capital improvements, things like playgrounds, spray pads, and pavilions. A stewardship manager who oversees the Park Steward Program, and a dedicated group of trained volunteers that allow us to accomplish far more than we could on our own. We also host government Homestead is concerned of ensuring assets are well maintained accessible to all. We are not in charge if the golf course closes or not, but we hope to be part of the solution if it does.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so people already alluded to what happens next, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows the process. First of all, I want to stress that absolutely no decision is going to be made at this meeting. We are here to hear from you and to get your input. After that, we're going to collect the data and we're going to provide it to the Metro Council Parks and Sustainability Committee. Then the final decision to repurpose the golf course or to maintain its current status will be made by Metro Council vote in accordance with Metro Council Ordinance 42.44, which relates to golf courses. All right, so again, your feedback is important. If you don't get a chance to comment tonight, again, parks@louisville.gov. Make sure you sign in. If somebody made your point. Just say your point was made, what it was, move on. Let's be careful. Everyone comment this particular item that we're discussing today, which again is on. Let's just be super respectful to everyone else. If you and get you if we have time at the end. I do have everybody's name who spoke at the last meeting, so we can cross check. I just have a funny feeling someone is trying to pull a fast one on me, but all right. So it's here.
So with so many people here, are you gonna?
This proposal. All right. Make your way up, and John, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Get out of the way of everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Mahorny. I'm a resident of Harristown Point, which is just a couple miles away from here. In the 90s, I had been involved with KIMBA, the Kentucky Mountain Bike Association. Okay. I had been involved with KIMBA, the Kentucky Mountain Bike Association, the Louisville Bicycle Club, and now I represent over 1,100 Louisville area cyclists who are part of the Ride and Fodden cyclist group based in Germantown. As road riders, trail riders, and gravel riders, Ride and Fodden supports KIMBA in their efforts to add to, maintain, and coexist with other park users in Cherokee. I cannot tell you how much Cherokee and other Olmsted parks mean to area cyclists of all disciplines. It's our backyard, close to home oasis, where we congregate and recreate, recreating ourselves on two wheels each and every week, year-round. We are excited to hear about the possibilities of redeveloping the 60-acre Cherokee Golf Course into something that serves everyone who lives nearby, far away, or who may be in town for a short visit. Mountain biking in Cherokee and Seneca Park for the last 30 years has ingrained this beautiful place in my soul. I take great pride in sharing the trails and roads with fellow park users, and I hope to share this new redevelopment with them also. I hope you can accommodate everyone in this new space with multi-use trails for hikers, mountain bikers, trail
Great, thank you very much, Jimmy Brown.
Thank you, Margaret. In light of all the people here, I'm going to shorten this a little bit more, but I want to make a few special points. My name is Jerry Brown. I had the pleasure of being parks engineer. I was hired as assistant parks engineer in 1991, served for 21 years. I've been fully retired now for 10. And I spent the biggest part of that last 10 years enjoying the use of Cherokee Park. I live about 2 miles from here. I dedicated the most significant portion of my working career to parks, study, design, operation, and maintenance of public parks. Before I got involved with parks, I was an active golfer. In fact, from 1980 to 86, I played quite a bit. And I have to say that I loved Cherokee golf. And I can see why the avid users here in Cherokee golf really appreciate this course, because it is beautiful. But I do believe that the time has come to let Cherokee golf, the portion of Cherokee golf park, become part of Cherokee Park for all people at all times. I also believe that the Olmsted Parks Conservancy is the perfect partner to oversee the design, redevelopment, and management of that property. During my time with parks, I had the experience of watching the Olmsted Conservancy grow from nothing more than just a vision to what they are today, providing millions of dollars each year to help maintain and promote these parks. I said I'm a nearly daily user. My wife and I walk the trails all the time. We've seen more and more and more people getting out, families with their children, experiencing nature, mountain bikers, hikers. The trails are about, okay. I truly believe, though, the best way to serve this community is to let the Homestead Parks Conservancy take this project on.
Thanks, Jerry. No, that's okay. Appreciate it. And thank you so much for your service. It was a pleasure working with you for, I think, 6 to 8 months, maybe. But I was just a young pup. Yeah, and I actually remember Jerry Brown teaching me the lessons of the public meeting. And the first public meeting I went to, he said, people are going to attack you. You just got to stay strong and get through it. So here we are, staying strong and getting through it. No doubt, Margaret.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Margaret Carrero, and I live in District 8. I'm here to speak in favor of the Olmsted Conservancy's plan to convert the Cherokee Golf Course into natural areas that can be enjoyed by not only more park visitors, but a greater diversity of our people. And while I'm sensitive to the fond memories of those who grew up using this golf course, I think we also have to be mindful of broadening and optimizing the use of this public area for future Louisvillians. And conversion to natural area would, I believe, be its highest and best use. In fact, I would say that the opportunity to convert this golf course into meadows and trees for the benefit of birds, pollinators, and park visitors is unprecedented. Unprecedented because the ability to add new natural area like this anywhere else in Louisville Metro is and will be prohibitively expensive. I mean, 60 acres? We would not be able to buy such land anywhere in the county for such a purpose, much less near the heart of the city where it's accessible to so many people. Visitors could see and learn more about the rapidly disappearing meadow habitats of Kentucky, their fascinating plants, insects, and birds as they walk the trails through a grassland close to home. This area would be perfect for nature appreciation, nature photography, and educational programs for young and old alike. As the golf course is transformed, local high school and college students could even start supervised research projects with the Conservancy so we could learn more about how nature changes over time, both above and below ground. After the 1974 tornado smashed through half of Cherokee woodlands, within just a week, our city set up a special committee to consider the future fate of Cherokee Park. The committee worked for 2 years and held many public hearings like this. There were calls to expand baseball fields and other sports on these grounds, even a call for building a large amphitheater. But eventually the committee heeded the original Olmsted design, and in March of '76, the city planted over 2,000 trees and thousands of shrubs in the midst of that wreckage so that the forest could heal. I think the millions of visitors since who have sought peace, inspiration, and healing in Cherokee Park, especially those who came during the worst of the pandemic in 2020, would agree that the city's special committee made the right call back then. And I hope Metro Council will do the same in making that decision for our city's future. Thanks.
Thanks, Robert. All right. Harriet Taylor, Rick Harnett, Paul Capiello. Okay. What's going on? Matilda, let's do it, girl. What you got? You gonna hold this microphone for me? How old are you, by the way? 5 3/4. Get it, Matilda.
I wanted to be a small playground and the rest of the space to be very round and big flowers.
Good job, Matilda. Way to rock it out.
Hi, my name is Harriet Taylor, and I'm here to speak in support of the proposal to close the Cherokee Park Golf Course and have the property run by the Olmsted Parks Conservancy. I live a short walk from Cherokee Park and come here almost every day, sometimes with my granddaughter, sometimes with other family members or friends, and sometimes alone. Whenever I'm at the park, I see many people of all ages, walking, running, bicycling, playing ball, walking their dogs, picnicking, or having fun at the playground. The one area where I almost never see many people is the golf course. For a facility that is quite large, there are rarely many people using it. When the decision to open up Cherokee Park to cars again was made, it was stated that the goal was to make the park accessible to more people. If that is still the goal, then the logical next step is to turn the area currently taken up by the golf course into a facility accessible and enjoyed by the entire population. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Harriet. Appreciate it. I'm going to try to see if I move forward or back where we're getting the feedback because it's not good. Yeah, if you just can leave it like that, I think we'll be good. We'll just have to back it up a little bit. All right. Here you go, sir. Yep.
Thank you. My name is Rick Harnett. I have lived around Cherokee Park for over 30 years in Louisville, first on the north side on Top Hill Road, and just recently my wife and I moved to the south side in the Piney Castle neighborhood, where we were always right around the park. I remember very clearly in 1990-91 when the scenic loop was first being made a one-way loop for one-way for cars and pedestrians and bikers on the other. I helped volunteer with the Boy Scout troop to help people learn the correct way to do that. There was a lot of opposition at that time. A lot of people said, oh, no, this is too inconvenient for me to make that change. But I think a lot of us would agree that it's made the park much more accessible and much more open and much more fully used by a lot of people. When I was Scoutmaster at Troop 1 over at Crescent Hill United Methodist Church, we would occasionally, without a whole lot of permission, bring our canoes down to Willow Pond to let our scouts get some ready opportunity to learn how to safely launch the canoe, how to carry it, how to put it back on the canoe racks, because this was by far the most convenient place for us to do it. We recognized and were not impressed by all of the algae and other growth in that pond caused by the runoff of excess pesticides and fertilizers from the golf course. So I think there's a lot of room to make Willow Pond a much more attractive asset for the city and for all of us to use. I did have one other interest that I want to express. Maybe the golf course is not the right place for it, but I think this part of town badly needs an outdoor pickleball court. Like we have over at Wyandotte.
All right, Sounds good. Rick, I appreciate that. There are pickleball courts coming to Tyler Park and Crescent Hill. You will have those up and running this summer, so hope that makes you happy. All right, Paul's up next, then Dan, Edward Zahler, Michael Segvik, if you all can make your way up.
Good evening. My name is Paul Capiello. I'm a resident of this neighborhood, and in keeping with one of our previous speakers, I am 60 and a quarter years old. I'm not necessarily here to speak on whether or not the course should be closed, but I am here to speak in support of the Olmsted Parks Conservancy. We are so incredibly fortunate to have this organization in our community. There's been a lot of talk tonight about how much they do to maintain parks, but not enough talk spoken about how brilliantly they have worked to bring our parks back to the state of shine that they deserve. They literally bring millions of dollars into our park system that enhances all aspects of our parks. And I believe if this is the direction that's chosen to close the course and redevelop, I think we could not be in better hands than to look toward the Olmsted Park Conservancy to lead that effort. They have an amazing track record.
And if you're getting close to the end, 15 seconds, that way you have time to wrap up. Go ahead, Dan.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Dan Sands. I'm a board member for Kimball Louisville. We're the trail advocacy group here in the Louisville metro area. And I just want to say that, you know, Kimball Louisville, its board and all of its members are totally behind Homestead Parks taking back over the golf course. We feel that it is a tremendous waste of space, that there are so many other users in this city that can use this area. I love golf. I've played it. You know, I think it's a great game, but there's Seneca Golf Course right next door. It's got more holes. This golf course, I think that the 60 acres that is being used here is a very big waste of space for just a single user. There's so many other people in this city that can use this area. And as the trail advocacy group in the city, I would like to advocate for more multi-use trails here in the park, because, you know, Cherokee Park, the proper park, all of the trails they're overused. I mean, this is a popular park. It's right off the interstate. Everybody loves coming here. So, you know, I think that increasing the multi-use trails in the park are going to help, you know, they're going to spread everybody out. This is, 60 acres that we can all enjoy, not just golfers. Okay, so that's all I got to say. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. All right. Edward is up next.
Thank you. My name is Edward Zahler. I'm a long-term resident of Louisville and greatly appreciate and support all of our community's parks. A recent quote from a national news article said, and I quote, "Amid months of social distancing, we learned that space matters. Nature is integral to our well-being." End the quote. Promoting well-being for all. I believe it is fiscally responsible to close the Cherokee Golf Course, restore the 60-plus acres to a more ecological use, and have the Olmsted Park Conservancy manage that process. The Olmsted Park Conservancy has a proven history of success. They will transform and manage an area that is beneficial to all people in a responsible and efficient manner. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Thanks, Edward. Michael's up next, then Stephen Bush, Reverend Lee Payne, and Wendy Smithion. If you can come forward, you'll be up next.
Mike Segvis with Kimball Louisville. Before I get started, avid golfer, close to 30 rounds a year before the pandemic. I've coached the first tee at Shawnee and Long Run. So I say that because I'm empathetic, right? But this is a business decision ultimately, and golf has grown significantly over the last 2 years, about 20% since 19. Two of the only years that golf has grown since I've been alive, right? So 35 years, that's the two top years of growth in 35 years. And that's obviously related to the pandemic. We couldn't recreate elsewhere. We had to get outside. So that's one argument I've seen is that the course was profitable. It was profitable because we had a 20% increase in rounds played and we had free labor. So multi-use trails, and we're here to help. That's all I got.
Thanks so much, Michael. Appreciate it. Stephen, you're up. Oh, there you go.
One of my favorite quotes from FDR is be truthful, be brief, and be seated. So I'm going to be brief. The fact of the matter is this golf course is a jewel. It's 60 acres of awesome, and only golfers get to use it on spectacular days. I feel that if we agree with or go with the Homestead Park Association, everyone will get to use it. That's it.
All right. Thanks. He lived up to it, right?
Thank you so much. I won't be long. Reverend Payne, manager of Capiello Cemetery, president of the Louisville Audubon Society. And, you know, I do a lot with nature and with the wildlife in our community. Definitely right here in Cherokee Park that has so much to offer, definitely to the wildlife. And oftentimes wildlife and the birds and the animals always get the bad end of the stick. And here we are with an opportunity to reclaim some land that is not performing well. And therefore, I am with the proposal with Olmsted. They are very, very wonderful at what they do to turn this into nature preserve area, our Willow Pond, and everything that they have proposed for this golf course to be for all of us to enjoy it all together. And nature is something that we all need. We can learn so much from all the animals and the birds that is all around us. And there's so much potential for this golf course that cannot produce well anymore physically, or even we can't maintain it and no funds for this golf course. And I know it's hard to let go, but when we can't hold anything anymore and we can't support the process of this golf course, let's turn it into something where we all can benefit from it together as one and to come together on this. I support Homestead.
Thanks, Reverend. Wendy's up next, then Matt Jarbo, Bob Picken, and Rick Vincent. If you can make your way up, that'd be great. Wendy?
Hello, my name is Wendy Smithson, and I just want to point out that a lot of the people that are speaking here are going to be pro the change, but at the original first meeting that happened last week, it was very pro keep it open. And I just want that to be voiced because it's sounding very one-sided here today. I myself am not a golfer. My husband is an avid golfer and he just loves Cherokee Park and the golf course. And I love all of it. But what I want to say is that what we're not hearing is that everyone can coexist. We don't need to be closing the golf course. In fact, there's a bird sanctuary within Cherokee Park. So I just don't understand. As a walker, I love to walk. I can walk outside my neighborhood. I can walk just across the street. I can walk. We talk about different parks. I can walk at Seneca Park, Iroquois Park, Cherokee Park, all over the place. I can walk. There are only maybe I can count on two hands how many golf courses there are. This is very limited. My husband has never complained about the condition of this golf course, so I'm not sure exactly what all needs to be fixed, but I think we can coexist. It's my understanding that the golfers would love to have a cafe or whatever to get a snack or beverage. As a walker, they could also enjoy the cafe. We could build a path around the pond, and you can even have a path going from the pond to the loop. So I don't think it has to be one way or the other.
Awesome, thank you so much, appreciate it. Also, I want to give a shout out to Rick Nico and Scott Sullivan, the superintendents that are here that maintain this course. Nathan Baywold, our parks administrator as well over golf, they do an amazing job. You can go check out the clubhouse, the side of the building. It's fallen apart and just about everything inside there needs to be fixed, and these facilities as well. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done. All right, so we have after that Matt Jarbo, I think. Okay.
Hi, Matt Jarbo. I live in the neighborhood. I'm in Cherokee Park almost every other day. From door to door, my door, all the way around the scenic loop, by the basketball courts, by Hogan's Fountain, by Dog Hill, all the way around through across the rugby pitch. It's 3.5 miles from my house. I can walk it anytime I want to. I enjoy it very much. I live here because of Cherokee Park. I'm also a golfer. I can come to this golf course, play a full round in 2.5 hours on a good day, get out, enjoy the park, and be able to play the game that I love, and also be able to enjoy the park. The one thing that I would do is I would appeal to the council members that there's an opportunity here for unity between two different areas, right? There's a way to bring this group together to do both of these things at the same time. Keep the sanctity of the golf course, but also develop the land in many different ways. When I walk through the parks, when I walk through the trails, anytime the trails are available and not closed because they've been torn up by bikers, I enjoy those trails as well. So I agree with the ability to ride those bikes, but that does damage to courses as well, right? There's an opportunity here for you all to be able to bring two groups together and be able to do something, build a clubhouse, develop the land, but keep the golf course. Thank you.
All right, Bob's up next, and then we have Charlie Walkerville. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, Charlie. And then Kevin George and Claude Stevens.
Well, I had a lot of, first of all, my name is Bob Picken. I live in the Cherokee Triangle. We moved into the Triangle 4 years ago, primarily because of Cherokee Park and Cherokee Golf Course. I too am a golfer. I think I played over 100 rounds last year, and I probably played 20 of them here. I love the course, I love golf, and I love the park as well. So the idea of coexistence, to me, is a good one, and I think that's when we ought to try to figure out a way to work on it. Back in 1900, whenever they opened the course, they had 50 acres, maybe out of 400, that was the golf course, and the rest was the park. And we've been able to coexist for 120 years, so I think we ought to be able to figure out a way to keep doing that. Last thing I wanted to say is that for anybody this weekend that's looking for something to do, the Cherokee Triangle has their 50th anniversary art fair going on Saturday and Sunday at Bola Park. Hope to see you all.
Thanks for letting that fly. That's a good announcement. All right, Charlie's up and Kevin. Charlie. It's all been said. All right, Charlie says thank you. I appreciate you. Kevin.
About 40 years ago, I was playing golf down on the 5th fairway, and a little girl who was with me gave me this buckeye. And I thought, that's a memory I'll have all my life, and it's all because I was playing golf. And then I thought about that the other night. It was not because I was playing golf. It was because I was walking in a park with my little girl, and we had our space all together, just listening to the sounds. And that's why. It wasn't about playing golf. It was about walking in the park. It was that slow pace of movement when the rest of the world was shut out and it was just us. I grew up playing golf. My mom used to take us out to the golf course early in the morning in Lebanon, Kentucky, a little 9-hole golf course, and pick us up at dark every day. I understand those values we got as kids playing golf and the friendships that I've had for over 60 years. The private interests don't want to run Cherokee Golf Course. That's why the Parks Department had to come in. Our Parks Department does a fine job, a great job keeping our parks together, but they shouldn't have to shoulder the burden of running Cherokee Park, and they're frankly not trained to do that. That's not what they do. So whether Olmsted Conservancy takes the park over or whether they don't, Cherokee Park is going to close. The golf course is going to close. We've heard it. Millions of dollars for clubhouse, millions of dollars on the golf course. We don't have the money, it doesn't have it. Now, if we had all the money in the world and somebody wanted to make it, that might be a different question. It's not gonna stay open. Drive down River Road, and as you get toward Zorn Avenue, on the right, there's a bunch of weeds, city property. Do you know what that used to be? A golf course. It was city owned the property. It was River Road. They couldn't make it. And then the city decided they didn't want to make it a park. Now, that little girl, and you'll hear my bias, that little girl was my daughter, Layla George. And Layla is CEO of Homestead Conservancy. I support, I don't care if they close the golf course or not, but they are. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. George. Claude Stevens, Ward Wilson, Stuart Miles. Claude? All right.
My name is Claude Stevens, and I live in the Irish Hill community, and I'm a proponent of closing the golf course and turning it into parkland. My argument is one of economics. Economics is a strange thing. When a dollar bill goes through a cash register, it's an easy thing to track. But the ability of that land out there to hold on to carbon has a positive economic value. The ability of this land to create oxygen and to filter water and to create diverse habitats for animals and plants and humans, and the ability of this land to have a higher value, higher economic value that is hard to track because it's part of the natural system's benefit to our community is invaluable. And we live in a time period where the energy that it takes to maintain a golf course is unsustainable for a long-term planet. So we need to begin thinking about different ways that we occupy space. And it is great to see such passion here for a city to make a decision around how do we occupy the space that we own collectively as a community. And so I hope that we can close the golf course. I don't know that it is compatible as mixed between golf course and other uses, because so much of that space is mowed to a standard that you just cannot handle if you're going to have ecosystems that have the value that our cities need right now. So thank you very much.
It's Ward Wilson. Ward Wilson? Oh.
Thank you. I'm Ward Wilson. I live right on the edge of the park. We just bought a place there and love this place. I've been a park user for about 30 some years. I'm in the park pretty much every week. I agree with most of the comments that are in favor of expanding the park into the golf course. I'll just speak to what it would mean to Beargrass Creek. We're in the Beargrass Creek watershed. Golf courses are green and everything, but they're not that great for water quality. Certainly, I really trust Homestead Parks Conservancy to do the right thing ecologically for this land, and it'll certainly increase the water quality of Willow Pond and Beargrass Creek, which is right below. Thank you.
Thanks, Ward. Appreciate it. I do want to make sure that we spend a little time and clear that up because I got a lot of questions about the environmental concerns. So all of our golf professionals that work at our courses are pesticide certified, right? We have standards that we have to abide by. The EPA also monitors us. So I just want everybody to know that all of those restrictions and precautions are in place to make sure that we do not have a negative impact on the streams and the water around here. So also wanted to give a shout out to Kevin Greenwell, awesome golf master at Seneca is here, and I really appreciate him taking time out of his schedule to join us. So thanks, Kevin. Round of applause for Kevin. Yeah, he does an amazing job. All of our golf pros do an awesome job. They give back so much to the community. Great role models for the kids as well. All right, Stuart, you're up, and then Ben Bodkins, Taylor Usilis, and Keith Quire are up next.
All right, I'm Stuart Miles, and before I tell why I'm in favor of reverting the parkland and the golf course back to park, I'd like to say how great it is to live in a community where you have people with such diverse opinions on a subject, and everybody here has been so respectful. And I just think that's awesome. I'm very proud to live in this community. I moved in this neighborhood in 1969, and I've been enjoying this park ever since then. I moved away from the community about 35 years ago. And both my mother and I have been pulled back, and we now live here again in separate places. And we were pulled back by this park. And I'm one of the few people who got to see this park before the tornado and its beauty. And what has really been very special to me is how I've seen the Olmsted Conservancy work diligently to bring the park back to what I remember it looking like when I was a kid. And if you were here and you saw this park before the tornado, will you raise your hand? Because I'd like to see all the people who can bear witness to just how incredibly beautiful it was before that damage took place. There's two reasons I support reverting the park, reverting the golf course back to the park. The first is that if you know anything about Olmsted, and there's a couple great biographies on him I recommend you read, his vision for this park did not include this golf course. It was something that was done 4 years after the park was built. And I think, having this park be taken back to that vision would be so incredibly special for all of us to be able to see what this great man had in mind when he developed it. So that's my first reason. The second reason is, and this has been said over and over again, that I think this is the best use of this land and property. I'm a golfer. I've golfed for many years. I'll pick it back up when I retire, whenever that is. But I think that despite golf being a great sport, there are two courses within 2 miles, as you've heard, that people can play. But there's not another 63 acres that we can grab to make this park bigger and special. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Stuart. Ben?
If anybody wants to rest their legs, there's like 4 or 5 seats up here, so come and get them. A very wise person told me the key to happiness in the Highlands is anonymity and to never give an opinion in public. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I absolutely love Cherokee Park Golf Course. I'm an avid golf ball hunter with my children. But we've observed over the last 9 years that on average, there's 6 to 10 people on the golf course at a time. And also being a walker, walk my dog, and ride bikes. Yeah. There really can't be 1,000 people in that 350 acres and 6 people in this 60 acres and live in a city in a dense urban environment and share all of that. And but with respect to the golfers who have been coming here, who have nostalgia for it for 50 years, 100 years, family ties, wore these outfits maybe 50 years ago. I hear you. It'll be sorely missed as a place for my kids and I to hunt golf balls and share that time together. We've been doing it together for 9 years, 2 or 3 days a week. Our course record is 100 golf balls. But it's time to open it up. It's also the best place to see a sunset in the entire Highlands. So total respect to the golfers and what it's been for 100 years, but you got to share it. It's precious time.
Thanks, Ben. Katie?
Hi, friends. My name is Taylor. I have lived in the Highlands for 30 of my 36 years. My childhood neighborhood right there. I grew up in Bonay neighborhood, and I live in the Tyler Park neighborhood. I absolutely love this park. I think it's really valuable. But y'all, I'm not a huge fan of golf, okay? I don't play golf, don't understand the game. Seems like an interesting way to spend your time and money, but I'm not opposed to you that do it. That's totally fine. However, I do think if you're thinking about the past couple years that we've had in the city and the inequity that exists in your sport, you might want to think about diverting the funds that would be used for this golf course to the Shawnee Golf Course, where the sport could become more equitable and more accessible to other people. But I also want to talk to you about the environmental impact of this golf course. Typical golf course is 200 acres. This one is 60. That's a lot of land. You got to landscape it, mow it, drench it, and pesticides, keep the sand traps perfect. I read somewhere that when a golf course rebuilds its bunkers, it usually takes 389 truckloads of sand, 389 truckloads just to keep, oh yeah, thank you, sand traps, just to keep everything nice and white and fluffy. But at the same time, because golf involves launching a potentially lethal projectile at great speeds across enormous distances, you have to severely limit the number of people on the course at any one time. So typically a good course can handle no more than 72 people at once. That's one golfer per 120,000 square feet. So you're spending a lot of time, money, and effort on something that very few people have access to. Take all that information and contrast it with the way the Olmsted parks are attempting to do with this land, or what they're attempting to do with this land. They'll eliminate people's need to pay to enjoy the land. They'll eliminate the city's need to maintain that land to golf standards, and in doing so, they'll create a more equitable resource for all of the city of Louisville to enjoy. Thanks.
10 seconds to spare, Taylor. Good job. All right, Keith, and then Michael, and then Henry Heiser. Michael, yes, got it.
Hi, my name's Cliff Kroick, and I support keeping the golf course open. Thankfully, the city of Louisville has allowed Homestead parks to be adapted to modern uses, whether that be basketball courts, softball fields, tennis courts, rugby fields, bike paths, archery targets, dog hills, and yes, golf. And now I guess we're going to get pickleball, and we're going to get some more bike trails. Wonderful. The golf course at Cherokee is an amenity that gets a large size usage and would be a great loss to many golfers that enjoy this sporty layout. I know the Conservancy wants to foster a great design pedigree of Olmsted, and it's for this reason they should consider fostering a great municipal golf course if the Metro Council is capable of understanding the benefits that golf brings to the community. Cherokee Golf Course has a long history dating back to 1897, 1907, I've got 1904. And the history, and that history is as valuable as the history of Cherokee Park itself. If we eliminate golf, we must think about eliminating all other activities not in line with Olmsted's original plan. I think golf has been unfairly targeted for some unforeseen reason to justify its existence. Regardless, it's a public park, and it shouldn't have to justify its existence. Besides, we all know the numbers are flawed and will misrepresent unfairly loaded against Cherokee. Additionally, the Metro fired the manager 2 years ago and will be measuring performance of an organization, which would be like measuring the progress of a ship without a sail. I've got some more, but I'll close with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, Michael. Also, just a reminder, make sure you hold the mic close to you.
Michael Lucchese. I live about a half mile that way. I'm frankly torn between the two options. So I would just suggest that people consider the compromise and what that would look like. People might think it would be impossible to do that, but I think there is a way you can figure out how to do it. And I would also, one of the things is I started liking golf 5 years ago, and before 5 years ago, I would have been sitting here and saying, no, no one uses it. It's no fun, but it really is nice to have the neighborhood golf course here. And I'm also an Olmsted Park steward. So I'm torn. I support the Conservancy. They're great. They're awesome. I love picking up trash, all that stuff. So I would just urge the decision makers to consider what it would look like as a compromise, because to me it's a win-win situation, and we need to figure out how to make it a win-win situation for everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. And thank you for helping to pick up trash. If everybody in this room just did that right a couple hours a week, we'd have awesome looking parks. Mr. Heiser's up next, then Vicki Wheatley, John Donrad, I'm sorry, Downard, John Downard, and then Chris Greenfee.
Thank you, Margaret. And Margaret, thank you for your leadership. I'm particularly excited that you are at the head of this incredibly important organization. So thank you. I'm a longtime resident. Yes, here's to Margaret, superstar. I'm a longtime resident of the neighborhood, and I live across the street from this park. I'm in it many times a week. In full disclosure, I'm a longtime supporter and former board member of Olmsted Parks Conservancy. But what I'm most excited about that hadn't been mentioned is the possibility of replacing the golf house with a very broad participation type building that the whole community can use. And as an example, many of you have been to the parklands of Floyd's Fork. The Gaines Foundation donated the Gaines Lodge. As an example, that multi-use building that is used for weddings, meetings, and community activities generates for the park hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. We don't have in this building that is here now the ability to use it. It's an embarrassment, and it needs to be replaced. And I know Olmsted Parks Conservancy can raise the money. We can do it in a week if we had the opportunity to do it and create something for this entire community, especially the neighbors, to bring something really prideful to this community. Thank you.
Thanks, Henry, appreciate it. Vicki? Vicki, then John, then Chris.
I'm Vicki Wheatley. About 10 years ago, my husband Jim and I moved to Louisville, and we were thrilled to discover Cherokee Park within walking distance. And we soon learned about the system of Olmsted parks and parkways, and so we enrolled in a class to learn more about the parks and become park stewards. So besides working in the park, we love walking the trails and learning more about the flora and the fauna and sharing the trails and the playgrounds with our grandson. But over the past 10 years, we have noticed the effects of greatly increased volume of people, pets, bikes on the trail. The fragility of the woodlands due to overuse became more apparent each year. The trails widen and deepen, tree roots are exposed, and erosion takes its toll. But I count the increase in usage as a good thing. There are more people enjoying the beauty of nature and the variety of activities in our park. But the damage caused by overuse is real. So in a city park becoming more crowded each year, there are only two solutions. One is to restrict the use of the park. The other is to find more space. Converting the golf course to expand the space in the Cherokee Park is the right solution. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And once in a lifetime really does come only once in a lifetime. We have this gift on the 200th anniversary of Frederick Law Olmsted's birthday for this once in a lifetime opportunity to manage the park in such a way that the most people have the most access to the park and its benefits for generations to come. Thank you.
Thanks, Vicki. John? Yeah.
I just endorse the comments of those who would like to see the Homestead plan put in place.
Thanks, John. Also, a number of people are coming up. If they don't want to be on the list anymore, their points already made, feel free to do that. You can come around and just let me know. All right, Clark Johnson, John Booker, Lynn Horror. Clark, John, Lynn. Come on up. You can come up first since you're here, Lynn, and then we'll get the rest done.
Hi, I'm Lynn Hara. We've lived here in the Triangle for 30 plus years. I'm an Olmsted Park steward, and I appreciate all that they do. I have a couple of points that I'd like to make. We have different sports in our community. We have biking, skating, soccer, people that like to do agility with their dogs and run with them in the dog park, and we have golfers. And This isn't meant to be a pro golf course. And what my husband and I have enjoyed about it is that we can be bad golfers and not be run off from this place. Because you go to Seneca, you go to Crescent Hill, and you're gonna have people breathing down your neck because you're not moving along fast enough. When you come over here, you're playing 9 holes and everybody's more relaxed. And older people have a chance to come out. If they can't walk, they can take a cart. So some of you need to think about that. That there are plenty of places to ride bikes. There's plenty of places to walk dogs. You got a dog park. I take my dog to the dog park. It's nice. I love it. And there's been a lot of thought in that regard. And I'd like to also say that when no one's using this park, nature is. So just think about that. The birds, the rabbits, the possums, they get a chance to be out here. So I disagree with, we have to have people on it every minute. I disagree with that. If we did anything with that building there, we probably have to have a bigger parking lot. Where are you gonna get that? You're gonna have to take land away to get that. So think about that. Then we also have a lot more projects. How many people? Okay, we have a lot more projects in the area that need attention. We have sewer lines running across and through Beargrass Creek. We have more work to do than we can do right now. We don't need to take on anything else at this point. This opportunity can and will probably come again. I disagree that this is a once in a lifetime. Thank you very much. All right, excellent. Craig Johnson or John Hooker, are you, either one of you here, close, ready?
Okay. I'm Bill Dixon, and I agree with everything she says. Anyway, I think this is really important that we keep the golf course, because if it's gone, we'll never get it back again. Once it's gone for good. And there was a young man that spoke here. I was very impressed with him. He said, we're a very creative bunch here. This is the most creative bunch I've ever seen in my life, live in this area. Why can't we figure out a way to do it all? I think we can. And that's my challenge to you. Let's do it all. Let's keep the golf course, maybe change it a little bit, maybe compress a couple of holes, and keep the fauna and the birds and the insects and everything. Keep that too. We can do it. I know we can. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mr. Nixon. Mary Julia, Jeff Dwyers, and Jane Tyler. Mary Julia, are you here? Yep, looks like she's coming up. Come on up. Jeff, Desweers, Jane Taylor, and then William Hamilton.
Point's been made.
Point's been made, Mr. Hamilton? Okay.
My name is Mary Julia Kuhn, and my next statement is really going to catch your attention. I live in Pappy Van Winkle's house. Wow. And I've lived there for 45 years. A lot of the things I was going to say have been said well. I did want to mention the exhaustive article in the Courier Journal a couple of years ago about the golf courses. And the bottom line is how much money they cost the city. And the our golf course, the Cherokee Golf Course, is the most expensive. And I'd just like for you to think about how we are the taxpayers paying that money. And we didn't have enough money in the last couple of years to open the public pools, which means a lot to a lot of kids. And then I think we've said a lot about how many people use the park and how much it's increased over the last couple of years with COVID and with people finding a rebirth of their love of nature. So I have one thing to close with. When I was a little girl, maybe 5 years old, our family had a big picnic in the park. And my brother and I wandered over to explore more of the park. We climbed a hill and found a wonderful bowl-shaped area full of sand. Hooray. As we were playing in the sand, a small ball landed close to us. And then another small ball landed near us. Whoopee. Balls to play with. Soon, 2 men carrying some sort of bags on their shoulders arrived. They were not happy. They kept demanding where we found the balls, exactly where we found the balls. Okay. They yelled at us. We didn't know what we had done, but they certainly didn't like it. Soon we ran away, puzzled by the whole episode. If the golfers in Cherokee Park part ways, things like this won't happen, and that would make life better for the vast majority of our residents.
Thanks. Thanks a lot, Mary Julia. All right, is Jeff here? Jeff, no? All right, Jane? Okay, Jane. And then we've got Susie Unseld, Casey Hall, and Royce Hall.
So my name's Jane Tyler. I've lived in Louisville since 1996, in Kentucky since 83. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just behind Southern Hills Golf Course. I played as a little kid, later attended PGA and US Open tournaments there. I developed a tremendous admiration and appreciation for the game, the sport of golf. I don't play golf. I don't play golf at all. But that does not mean that I don't have a voice and a seat at this table and in this discussion. Last week, speakers felt that the city had disinvested the course at the meeting last week, disinvested the course and had not planned for the future. I cannot speak to that. But I do know from what's been said and what I've learned is that the city and the city council seem extremely unlikely to dedicate the significant funds, time, and energy to see that the ordinances get changed that govern the green fees and the PGA professional threshold, or that they will renovate the course, the clubhouse, and do the maintenance that has been deferred that needs to be done. That's even removing the dead and dying trees around the course. As Margaret said last week, Metro Parks doesn't want their staff maintaining this course, doing the work anymore. At least that's my understanding. I sympathize with the active golfers who don't want to lose this course. It's got low green fees and its underuse is exactly what makes it attractive to its vocal fans. It's a beautiful, challenging course. It's easy to get a tee time, and as just said, there's less wait time because it is underused. The only viable response was from Olmsted to the RFP. Let's let Olmsted Parks, with 3 decades of park management experience, restoration, and enhancement, take over at no cost to the city, at no cost to the taxpayers, and convert this land to benefit the most number of people. Thank you.
Thanks. Susie, are you still here? I don't see Susie. All right. Casey Hall and Royce. Casey and Royce Hall. Casey, you're up. Royce, following close behind.
I'm Casey Hall. Like most of the speakers last week, I'm in favor of keeping the golf course. As the back of the paper says, you know, the 5th oldest course in the United States and Louisville's oldest public golf course. If we have to close a golf course, I don't think it should be this one. I think we should save it. Also, especially when golf courses only make up for something like 1% of the metro parks area. There's not really that much room for golfers, so I would want to keep this one. And also, several people made the point last week that, you know, it's hard to get high school matches in at the other courses. As a former high school golfer, I definitely agree with that. I spent most of my time playing at Cherokee. It's always been my favorite. And I just really have appreciated my time there. And I kind of wonder if Cherokee gets less money because more high schoolers are using it. And it's going to be an amenity for the city, which I thought was what the golf courses were supposed to be, so that people didn't have to go and pay at the really expensive clubs.
Thanks, Scott. Casey, appreciate it. And Susie here, then Al Times.
Hi, I'm Royce Hall. I'm actually, like in all of my life, a very pragmatic person. So I think of this as kind of in a pragmatic point of view. The questions that we've been asking has been around, should the golf course be kept open? And it seems to me like we have two groups of people. People that want to keep the golf course open, want to share the amenities, and really people who are by and large against golf in general. And if we were to be talking about a proposal to eliminate all golf courses altogether, I think a lot of people here would still be saying the same things. So really the question comes down to me, where this really all started was the question of, since Cherokee Golf Course is unprofitable, what are we going to do? However, what I've heard is y'all made it profitable. And I get that you don't want to continue taxing your labor with taking care of the golf course, but hey, let's be creative with that. Let's change the resolutions. Let's do what we need to do to continue to make this golf course profitable so that we can continue offering low cost options for people to learn how to golf. I don't golf much anymore, but I'm very thankful that I didn't have to pay country club fees to find out that I'm terrible at it. You're welcome for donating so many golf balls. I got you. So I think that we need to think creatively about how do we solve this problem, and thank you for solving the problem of being underfunded. Let's think about how we can continue that. And as far as changing the clubhouse and making that a restaurant, fantastic idea. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be happy to donate money to do that and keep it a golf course. Thank you.
Thanks, for appreciate it. We've got Susie that's here, and then Al, and then Art Sestaro. Susan.
Oh, cool. All right, Art. You're up, Susie. I'll keep this very brief. I support letting this land rewild, so I don't think that we should keep the golf course. It's not about the golf, it's about the chemicals and the grass that it takes to keep it going and to keep it modern. So I understand that this is a very divisive, it seems like everything in the world is divisive. You're either pro golf or you're pro nature. But one thing I haven't really heard too many people talk about, except for the gentleman from the Audubon Society and the lady right here in the second row, it's not just about us. It's not just about humans. If we could ask the birds, the bees, and the trees, what would they prefer? Seriously, don't think they would want the chemicals in the lake, and they wouldn't want the green chemicals on the grass. And it's time that we stop thinking about just ourselves, because we're not the only beings on the planet. Thanks, we appreciate it. Al, is Al here? All right, I know Art's here, and then we have Keith on, and then Paul Holleran. Oh, I'm sorry. So Paul, I'll get to that in a second. So Art, you're up, and then Keith.
Yes, I brought a visual aid, as they say in the education biz. This is called a mashing giblet. Before, clubs had clever names like 3-iron and 4-iron. They all had weird Scottish names like this, and no one knows what it means. But I brought this because this antique is what was used out here when this course opened. And that's the age of this course, as other people have mentioned, makes it very singular. This isn't just some other golf course. I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, and a couple of times during my lifetime, there were comments made by fans and ownership that we've got to get rid of Fenway Park. I mean, the thing was built in 1912. It looks like a warehouse. It's making the team look bad, and it's not modern, and it's just got to go. And what was forgotten and what eventually prevailed, and it's now the Red Sox market is the world's most beloved ballpark, is the history and the history of the people who go there. I heard at the last meeting a number of people mention that, these were people with gray hair like mine, that their grandfather taught them how to play golf here. There were people who first played this course when it opened in the early 1900s. You know, they had gray hair. They were born when Andrew Jackson was president. That's how old this is, and that's how this should be marketed. This course can be something that people will come to see. People go to Wrigley Field, to Lambeau Field, to Fenway Park, to all places who aren't even particular fans of the sport because of the history. Athletes love playing there because it's just not some other ballpark. It's not some other football field. And this golf course isn't just some other golf course. This is a very historic place, and it needs to be preserved for that because as someone else said, once it's gone, it's gone. They're not rebuilding it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Art, appreciate it. All right, Keith's moving next. We had a couple of people leave, Paul Holleran and John Dwyer, and, oh, no, they spoke before. Okay, so you're up, Keith, and then we've got Rudy Voigt, Ethan Lawson, and Trey Broadus.
All right, hey, my name is Keith Bonay. I grew up playing golf. I love golf. I played with my dad, who's passed away on this course a bunch. But I am also a mountain biker. I own a bike shop on the other side of the park. I'm a professional mountain bike instructor, so pretty much like a mountain bike golf pro type person. The most important thing I do now, though, is I run a youth mountain biking group. We had our first meeting last Tuesday, and we had 40 kids. We meet in a field, the same field that a bunch of the dog training goes on. And if you can imagine what happens when kids on bikes and dogs are around in the same area, you have some stuff on the tires. So I am really behind the switching it over to the Olmsted group. There is tremendous opportunity out here. Not really just thinking mountain bike trails, but there's tremendous opportunity for family activity. Kids out here, families, kids on bikes. There's a lot of stuff out here. Good. But like I said, I love the course. I'm a golfer. But thank y'all.
Thanks, Keith. Appreciate it. Ruby's up, then Ethan and Trey. And just in case you're keeping time, we're about halfway through our list. So again, if your point's been made and you just want to do it, I will make sure that we say your name and what your point is. All right, sir, you're up.
Hey, I'm Rudy Vogt. Full disclosure, I am not a golfer. I am a big supporter of the Olmsted group. I think they've done a tremendous job. My concern, my family has a fourth generation of living on the parkway. We've been across the park, or across the parkway from Sledding Hill. We adjoin parts of the park properties. My biggest concern is that the city of Louisville has actually done a very nice job of helping us clean up after each sledding occurrence, which becomes a huge mess on the parkway. I'm completely concerned about the pockets and the ability for the Conservancy to come in and pick up where the city of Louisville has left off. So if there is a route to go that cuts the cost on the golf course, but leaves the city in charge, I am all in favor of that.
Thank you, Rudy. Appreciate it. Ethan, and then Trey, and then Bill Cowley.
Hi, my name's Ethan Lawson. I live in Germantown. Originally, I'm from Eastern Kentucky. So first off, I just think it's really funny that we're talking about the environmental impact of 60 acres. If you want to know about environmental impact, come visit me back home. I don't have beautiful lands because all of the soil is polluted. I also just started golfing. I'm a 30 handicap, which is terrible if you don't golf. I just wanted to say that there was a mention made that there's inequity in the golf community. There absolutely is. It's a rich man's sport. What's nice about Cherokee Golf is I came out here today at 2 p.m. And played 18 holes of golf for $15. Go anywhere else in the city that's not Metro Parks owned. There is not a place you can play for $15. Secondly, The reason I haven't played Cherokee golf more is every time that I go online to where all the other Metro Parks golf courses have their tee times, there is no tee times available for Cherokee Park. It says it's been taken offline. So whether that's malicious or just somebody doesn't have the ability to run it, that's neither here nor there. I want to say that, yeah, it is historic, but that's beyond this. We keep talking about inclusivity of the parkland. Kind of hyperbolic here. Do you want somebody teeing off, 120 mile an hour golf swing, 170 mile an hour ball flying through the middle of the dog run over there? No. This is the one place in the Highlands, besides, you got to go 3 miles to Seneca Park to play, that you're out here and you're not going to hurt anybody to play. A second thing, I think, too, that we can open this course to make it more profitable to Frisbee golf. It's a growing thing in this country. There's a large group on Facebook in the Louisville community, and I think that if you charged them to play here as well, it would be a good time. But don't close Cherokee Park. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen, appreciate it. Also want to make sure everybody knows that is not the case. It is not closed or offline. Anytime there's golf courses, if they have a tournament or they have high school leagues, they'll block off so people can't make tee times. You don't have to make a tee time at Cherokee, as all of you know. People can come at whenever they want to play. So just want to make sure to clear that up. It's definitely not that, but I just looked at our community engagement folks to make sure they quadruple check to make sure there's no issues with that. All right, Trey.
Hi, everyone. My name is Trey Broadus, and I'm a resident of District 6. I'd like to start off by saying that I have read the entirety of the Olmsted Parks Conservancy's proposal, and I think it's fantastic. I think that arguing the fiscal, environmental, and social impacts and benefits of this are already very clear. But one thing that I don't think we've really been talking about is the opportunity cost of what we can build here that we currently are not. Now, I can't speak for the individual members of these groups, but I am a member of Food Neighborhoods as well as Streets for People. And from my understanding with those groups is everybody in those groups is very much on the same page, almost unanimously. And I would like to speak to the point that Food Neighborhoods specifically would like to see a large percentage of this acreage used for community gardens. We do, however, recognize that the land is restricted for recreational purposes and would like to work with OPC in the development of the master plan to convert at least 10% of this land into wildlife buffers, as well as an edible food forest park. This is a lower maintenance, lower impact, naturalized version of food production that can serve to provide attractive landscaping, educate visitors on local ecology, sequester runoff of herbicides and pesticides from elsewhere in the park, which are being used for the golf course, and occupy niches that would otherwise be filled by aggressive non-native species. It can also serve to directly provide food for the restaurant proposed to occupy this space, and which would be further increasing the profitability of the project for MetroGov. That being said, I'd like to stop speaking towards other people's time. Never mind. It's okay.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Trey. Thank you so much. All right. Pat Heights, Ann Rice, Keith Williams. While they're coming up, Julie Jesse and Valerie LeBron wanted to voice their support for Homestead. Tom Pardue is supportive of the golf course staying as is. Dana Patillo supported the Olmsted proposal, and Lauren Belden supports Olmsted, and she wanted to make sure that it's due to the connectivity to the pond and the pollinators. All right, Pat.
I think I know how the Christians felt in the Romans arena. Friday night, we had a really good meeting, and it was more pro-golf, and a lot of things were said. Then I had a chance to reflect on that over the weekend and got some data. First thing that's important is the Parks Department's got to decide if they want to keep this course open or not. And I've read the regulations. And then what happens after that, if it closes and how it gets repurposed, that's another decision. So first off, I want to thank the council members that are here 2 on Friday, 3 tonight. I hope they're all still here because they need good information, not just how many people want this and how many people want that. I get all that. But one of the things that somewhat bothered me is the lack of information on data. Too many people are throwing numbers around here that don't have a damn idea what they're talking about. And I didn't get the data until 4 p.m. today, so I know they couldn't have it. When people talk about millions of dollars being spent, blah, 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 that's all wrong. Now, we'll back up and say one thing. If you close this course down, you're never getting it back. Because the median golf course for 9 holes, the cost is $5 to $7 million, and I'm saying 5 would be on the low side. It isn't coming back. Now, when we talk about revenue, that's different than profit. Now, revenues, according to this, the last 2 years have virtually doubled over what it was 2 years ago. That's huge, okay? Secondly, it did make a profit last year. This topic came up 3 years ago, nothing's happened. So I went through every one of these topics. We never talk about cost. Not one time did I hear anybody in Olmsted say a thing about what these things cost, where the money's coming from, where's the source of it, are we going to be guaranteed all this? Restaurants, there's a restaurant on waterfront, it's been vacant for 5 years, no guarantee here. Pond, build it, use it. You don't need the golf course closed to do that. Last 13,000 acres, and we need less than 1%, 56 for more, whatever, nature walks. Come on, people. 13,000 acres we've got around here. Clean up Cherokee.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. All right, Ian Rice, Keith Williams, Cliff K. Ian Rice. Awesome. And then Keith Williams, if you can come up, and Cliff K, please. Here you go. Just a little bit. Sorry.
Okay. Let me just preface this by saying I am emotionally invested in this because my dad passed away almost 2 years ago, and we were so close on the public golf course. I was even golf buddies on the public course with my Army recruiters, so this means a lot to me. And full disclosure, I literally found out about this meeting yesterday over at Seneca. I read the paper, and to tell you the truth, my blood boiled a little bit. You know, I was mad, and to hear about, oh, Cherokee Golf Course is like murdering animals. No, it is not. What? Bad for the. No, I mean, it's not an environmental. I mean, I feel like that's a smoke screen. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. It's not Cherokee. You know, if golf courses are the villain, go after the gross, elitists. I tell you what, I did not swing a golf club for 4 years while Trump was in office. He made golf gross again. Golf is great. Golf is great. Let's save this course. And I'm telling you point blank, this development is just a super, super, super dumb, bad idea. And it's going to ruin things over here at Seneca. So we're going to overflow. And you know what? The restaurant and clubhouse is a great idea. Revitalize that, but let's not overthink it. Food trucks. Let's get some food trucks over here. In fact, my work just started one. We can bring Spinelli's right to Cherokee. So.
Good job.
Yeah, I think I'm done. Okay.
Super. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it, Keith. And then Cliff K, Linda, Fernandez, and then Jill Morey. Go, girl.
Yes.
Thank you. I've played this course for over 30 years. It was the first course I ever played. It was the first course my son and daughter played. I get a little emotional about it too. I don't know if you know this. Louisville is a great city, but it is golf poor. Golf Digest did a comprehensive survey of golf with mid to large level cities, and Louisville was at the bottom in terms of its ranking, in terms of availability of play and the number of courses. We don't have a lot of courses. We just don't have a lot of courses. In regards to the interplay of this course with nature and with the community, I played this course today. Every time I played this course hundreds of times. Every time I play this course, there are walkers, there are dog walkers, there are bikers, there are skaters, rollerbladers, ice skaters when the pond is frozen over. This course interacts with the community in ways that few other courses in the nation incorporate in terms of its use and its flow. So I would just urge, it would be a giant mistake to close this course. There is a way with golf booming right now and continuing on that trajectory. There is a way to make a profit. There is a way to make this enjoyable for the entire community. Please keep this course open.
Yeah. Thanks, Keith. Cliff K? Cliff K still here? No? All right. Linda, is this you? Yes. All right.
Thank you very much.
I'm Linda Fernandez. And I just want to make a couple of comments about good data. Everybody's talking about good data. When people say, well, the income doubled last year, what does that mean in terms of numbers? Are we talking, it went from $2 profit to $4 profit? That's not going to convince me that it's worthwhile keeping this golf course open. If it seems to me that
$22,000.
Excuse me?
$22,000.
$22,000 and for 1 year out of the last 10. Okay, those are good statistics. I'll let you talk after I finish. Thank you very much.
So let's be respectful, okay, and give her the floor. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, it seems to me that the people who want the golf course open don't want to pay the fees of the other golf courses. From what I understand, there are 2 golf courses within 3 miles of this one that are better, and maybe they charge more. Well, why do they charge more? Because they fix their golf courses up, right? Hello, sir. And then there's also the issue of sentimentality. Grandma died. I've been in that situation. I'm sure all of you have as well. Grandma died. It is so sad. We have to keep her house. We can't keep the house. It's too big. It costs too much money to repair. The only thing to do is to sell it, to get out from under the burden. So I'm hearing a lot of sentimentality, and also, well, bad golfers have to be accommodated. We can't play at the other golf courses because people go too fast. Sorry, your problems are your problems. I feel for you, but they shouldn't wreck the economy or the amenities of a beautiful space. Thank you. Thanks very much, Jill. Or you're Linda, Jill Morey. The pandemic isn't over. Jill Morey, and then Ryan Smother, Paul Keene. Any of those individuals here? Jill left, okay. Ryan, Paul, Gail Smith. We've been doing a great job of being respectful, so let's finish it up strong and keep it that way. Let's hope we can get everybody in here in 20 minutes. Past your bedtime, right? 8 o'clock?
That's right.
Yeah.
38 years old. Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Smither. I'm an attorney here in Louisville and a resident of Crescent Hill. My 10-year-old golden retriever, Teddy, and I have spent countless hours in the center of Cherokee Park. No place on earth brings us more joy. If we get within a stone's throw of the main entrance to the park while driving in the car, Teddy lets me know it. No one enjoys Cherokee Park more than Teddy and I. And we appreciate Louisville Parks and Rec and the Conservancy for that. Meanwhile, as a teenager, I fell in love with the game of golf thanks to a $90 annual junior golf pass from Metro Parks that came each Christmas. All the golf I could play, all I needed was a ride. With an assist from my mom and her Dodge Caravan, Long Run Golf Course was my surrogate parent as a young teen. And because of my relationship with public golf for nearly 20 years, I have dreamed of enjoying a great public golf course here in Louisville. Louisville, a great sports city, deserves a great public golf course. I'm speaking up tonight for that idea, whether it happens here at Cherokee, among the current 9-hole course, perhaps marketed as a Mashie Niblick style course as was suggested, in a smaller form up top here above the ridge, as just a gigantic putting green at a minimum, a 3-hole executive course, a 9-hole par 3 course, or whatever else is out there, or in another form elsewhere, perhaps just down the road at Crescent Hill. I'd advocate for Shawnee, as was mentioned earlier, but the river, I'm sure will wash it away. But I believe that a Parklands-like model, including private funding to build and to endow ongoing maintenance is a real option for creating a great public golf course here in Louisville. I agree that everyone can win here if only we can change up our approach.
Thanks, Ryan. Last call for Paul or Gail. All right, we're gonna move on to Tom, Callie, Rudy. Sorry, I can't read Rudy's last name here, or Sharon Hardy and Ewing Hardy, third. So is Tom here? Rudy. All right, Sharon, you're up. Sharon Hardy, and then Mr. Hardy the third, then Glenn Cossey. Anybody? Nope. All righty. Marty Kaiser. Marty Kaiser. Hi.
Hi.
Did I say your name?
Yep.
Awesome. What's your name? Well, you can say it. Awesome.
I just want to reiterate what the one guy said, that there are 13,000 acres of parks in Louisville and 333 acres that are here in Cherokee that people can walk and ride their bikes in, and this is a very small area just for golfers. There's no money made from walkers, from bikers, and from dogs. And the Cherokee Golf is subsidizing the park system right now as it is. And it is profitable, and it is making money. It was open since 1895, and it was open to all races and all religions, and anyone who can pay a small fee can play golf here. And I think that the Parks Department has kind of mismanaged things with Cherokee. I think they wanted to let Cherokee go and just have not trying to make it a profit. They for years have tried to shut down this course, and so lower the greens fees so that they're saying they're not making money. And to people who say there's only 6 or 7 people on the golf course at a time that you're seeing, that's because it's a foursome. It's because 4 people walk along at a time, and that's all you're seeing, just those 4 and the next 4, the next 4. And I just think that I would like to propose that there would be a current, the RFP, the request for proposal from a business. I would like to propose that would be a new one that does not require a PGA professional to run the clubhouse. Any businessman could run a clubhouse and sell hot dogs or beer, or make it a restaurant that also takes money for the fees. I mean, it's a simple solution. Everyone can have what they want, but we have to work together. Thank you.
Thanks, Marty. Appreciate it. All right, Jean, Chris Hauer left. She supports the Olmsted proposal. Would like to see more native plants and grasses. Ray Yeager, Larry Bissig, Brian Hastings. Ray, Larry, Brian.
Hey everyone, Ray Yeager here. So I'm going to lead off and try to just cover the points that I haven't heard yet. I'm not a historian, but I do have this book on Olmsted, and to quote Olmsted, to procure such scenery in higher perfection than with large outlays to obtain it is yet to be found in any public park in America. He said that about Cherokee Park, and I think that's still the case when it applies to this golf course. Because we haven't had this opportunity in 130 years when the original park was established. Also, Olmsted's original plans provided no special areas for sports or other activities, which I found was interesting and not entirely consistent with the current population density of Louisville. And the 3 plans in this book all do not include a golf course. So I wanted to hit on those points with the history of the golf course. As for me, I'm a lifelong resident of the city. I'm a resident of District 8. I'm a runner, hiker, and I play other sports in the park. I am also a professor of environmental health at U of L, and I have several published papers on vegetation, green spaces, and health of individuals. One thing that hasn't been mentioned are ecosystem services of expanding the park into golf course land that include improvements to stormwater runoff, heat island reduction, a better balanced ecology, lowered air pollution, lowered noise pollution, lowered light pollution, better benefits to exercise and health, better benefits to mental health, and carbon sequestration. Even if this park did make a bunch of money. I'm guessing it's not gonna make as much money as all of these ecosystem services combined, because that's a lot right there. Also, the users per acre of a golf course isn't nearly what other park uses would be. There are dozens of other courses in the city, not just the public courses. All of those take up a lot of land. We've already covered all the pollution and all that good stuff. And also, just another thing when we talk about facilities in Louisville, Louisville has no top-notch athletic fields in the city. You go to a place like Cincinnati, they've got 6, 7 of them around the city. We have none. E-Town has one. We don't have one. So why do we have, roughly 40 golf courses in the city, but not one top-notch athletic complex? I wonder about that one. And my time's up. So we got a whole other page of stuff, but thank you.
Thanks, Ray, appreciate it. Larry Bistig, Brian Hastings, yep, all right, come on up, Mr. Hastings.
How y'all doing? I'm Brian Hitchings. I hear a lot about family and we need to close the golf course for parks and more trails. I have a 7-year-old, 2 dogs, and a wife, and one of the things we love on weekends or evenings, come walk the trails, come walk the paths, just hang out, nice days. One of the other things we love too, minus the dogs, although they probably could help me on the golf course find my balls a lot easier, is come play golf. Taught my son golf. My wife got into golf because it's something, again, we can come out and do and still enjoy the park. I'd love nothing more than come out in the morning, have brunch, go enjoy the park. I think that's something, again, it's like golfers versus the park. It's been said numerous times, we could work together, we could make this and the park great. It's in great shape. The Metro employees, I know she works and always remembers my name. They are amazing as well. So saying, oh, they can't do it, they're short-staffed. They are always smiling, they're friendly. So I don't think that's an issue too. The last thing I'd just like to say is you can get on here. You can get on 8 in the morning. You might get off at work and you can come here at 3 in the afternoon and get 9 in and play. Seneca is one of the busiest golf courses and you can't do that. And that's no knock at Seneca, but you can't do that. You can do that here. So thank you.
Thanks, Brian, appreciate it. Greg Clare? Yes, all right. And then Lincoln Bissig is next.
Good evening. I'm trying to figure out, is the issue that Metro Council is trying to save money? Is the issue that Metro Council can't afford the parks? Or is it that Olmsted Park wants to run another section of the park? To me, I'm a little confused because if it's a financial issue for the city, that would be something I think that Metro Council itself would debate the finances on the situation. And then I was concerned because the public meeting appears to be sponsored by the Olmsted Parks Association. And on their site, they actually stated, we need our supporters to show up. At the first public meeting, the majority of those who spoke were golfers in favor of keeping the golf course open. If there are others who feel differently, and we know there are, we're asking you to show up early to sign up and speak and voice your support. We're talking about data that the Metro government's supposed to be used to determine what to do with the public asset. When you acquire that data, you have to have data that's relevant. If you have an entity that's going to manage a public asset after the fact, sending out emails to people to support closing a public asset, that does not seem like the most appropriate data. And that's the same thing happened the last time with the use of the park roads. Data was collected within the park itself as to who wanted to keep walkers in, who wanted to keep bikes in and close the roads. That data was skewed. The information that was going to the public was not accurate. I think the same thing is here. Is it really a financial issue that the city of Louisville is deciding what to do? Or is it Metro Parks? Or is it the Olmsted? we talked about the one more thing is the city of Louisville, through planning and zoning, has created a giant multi-use development at the corner of Princeton and Lexington Road. The problems you're gonna have from that environmentally is much greater than this golf course. And the vista that this golf course creates, that whole section, makes it enjoyable for everybody who goes past. 40 years from now, that golf course is not operating as a golf course. There's no guarantee at all what it's going to look like. Will there be any open vistas? What will be the looking? People drive past. Will it be a forest? Will it be maintained? One of the neighbors, Rudy Vogt, spoke about how he looks across to the park. And after the fact that all of the people on the sledding hill, on the golf course, they're not golfers, the sledding hill, there's trash everywhere. The city of Louisville comes in and cleans it up. Not to a park, can they do it, or will Olmsted be required to do that? The whole park has to be maintained. You have 60 acres to be maintained by a nonprofit. We have to look at the real reason we're here, and what we're trying to decide.
Thank you, appreciate it. Lincoln Bissig? Lincoln Bissig. All right, I want to thank everybody for your comments. They were wonderful. The time that you all spent preparing them, writing them down is wonderful. So really appreciate that. Again, we talked about it at the beginning. The way the process works, this is the final public meeting that we had. We'll take all the information that we got from your public comments. Also, make sure if there's any additional information that you want to make sure that we're aware of, you can send that to parks@louisvilleky.gov. You can also go in the back and talk to Brandy and Faye. They can jot down any additional information. So we document that for you. Next steps, we talked about it at the beginning. We will collect all of the information that you had, as well as other information. We will pass that along to Metro Council, first the Parks and Sustainability Committee, and then depending upon what decision is made moving forward, Metro Council will have a final vote per that ordinance. If any repurposing or changing would occur within the golf course. So again, just want to thank everybody for coming out. Councilwoman Armstrong, any final words? Okay, thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
I know we don't. Online.